The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the human exploration vessel Starseeker. Captain Tom Anderson stood at the bridge's main viewport, his experienced eyes scanning the darkness ahead. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught him to trust his instincts, and right now something felt different. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy readings," reported Jack, the ship's sensor operator. His fingers moved quickly across the glowing display. "It's like nothing we've seen before." Anderson moved closer to the sensor station. His interest piqued. "Show me." The main screen lit up with a complex pattern of energy signatures, stretching across an enormous section of space. But what caught everyone's attention were the hundreds of large objects scattered throughout the area. "Ships," Anderson whispered. "Those are ships." The bridge crew fell silent. First contact protocols had been drilled into them countless times, but this was real. This was history in the making. "Multiple vessels detected," confirmed Mary from weapons control. "No active weapon systems, but they're definitely not human designs. These ships are massive, Captain. The smallest one is 3 times our size." Anderson straightened his uniform. "Communications, any signals?" "Yes, sir," replied Bill, the communications officer. "They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies. It's a distress signal." The translator systems worked quickly, converting the alien language. A deep, resonant voice filled the bridge, tinged with what could only be described as desperation. "To any vessels within range. Our fleet is stranded, primary systems failing. Energy field has disabled our core technology. Civilians at risk. Please assist." Anderson didn't hesitate. "Take us in closer, but maintain safe distance. Shields up, but weapons powered down. Let's show them we're here to help." The Starseeker moved gracefully through space, approaching the nearest alien vessel. As they drew closer, the true scale of the situation became apparent. The alien fleet was enormous. Dozens of massive ships, their sleek designs suggesting technology far beyond human capabilities. "Sir," Jack called out, his voice tense, "I'm detecting some kind of energy field permeating this entire region. It seems to be interfering with their power systems." Anderson nodded. "Open a channel." "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Anderson of the Earth vessel Starseeker. We've received your distress signal and are here to offer assistance." The response came quickly. The main screen activated, showing a tall, elegant being with silvery skin and large, intelligent eyes. "Captain Anderson, I am Fleet Commander Reed. Your arrival is unexpected, but most welcome. We are in dire need of help." The alien commander explained their situation. Their fleet, carrying over 50,000 civilians to a new colony world, had encountered an unknown energy field. Their advanced technology had been severely affected, leaving them stranded and rapidly losing power. "Our primary systems are failing," Reed continued. "Life support on several ships is already critical. We never expected to encounter anything that could disable our technology so completely." Anderson and his crew listened intently. The aliens' technology was clearly more advanced, but somehow their simpler, more robust human systems were unaffected by the energy field. "Commander Reed," Anderson said, "with your permission, I'd like to send our engineering team to assess your systems. While our technology might be less advanced, it seems to be resistant to whatever is affecting your ships." Reed's expression showed what might have been hope. "You would risk your people to help us." "That's what we do," Anderson replied simply. "Humanity has a long history of helping those in need, regardless of where they're from." The alien commander was silent for a moment, then bowed slightly. "We accept your offer, Captain Anderson. And thank you." Anderson turned to his crew. "Prepare engineering teams for immediate deployment. Contact Earth Command and request additional support vessels. We're going to need them." As the bridge crew rushed to carry out his orders, Anderson looked out at the stranded alien fleet. This was why they had come into space, not just to explore, but to reach out, to help, to show the best of what humanity could be. "Sir," Bill called out. "Earth Command acknowledges. Support vessels are already being dispatched." Anderson nodded, a small smile on his face. "Then let's get to work. These people need our help, and we're not going to let them down." The Star Seeker moved closer to the alien fleet, ready to begin what would become one of humanity's finest moments in space. Chief Engineer Mike walked through the massive engine room of the alien flagship, his handheld scanner beeping steadily. Behind him, his human engineering team stared in awe at the advanced technology surrounding them. What should have been a humming powerhouse of energy was instead eerily quiet, with only emergency lights providing the illumination. "This is worse than we thought," Mike muttered, studying the readings. The alien power cores weren't just failing. They were approaching critical instability. He turned to Commander Reed, who had been silently observing the inspection. "Your power systems are incredibly advanced, but this energy field is causing a cascade failure in the quantum matrices." Reed's silver features tightened with concern. "We estimated 3 days before complete system failure. Was our assessment correct?" Mike shook his head grimly. "You have less than 2 days on some ships. The field is affecting each vessel differently, but the larger ships with more complex systems are failing faster." The alien commander's usually composed demeanor cracked slightly. "We have over 50,000 civilians aboard this fleet. Many are in stasis chambers, which require constant power. If those chambers fail—" "We won't let that happen," Mike interrupted firmly. He activated his communicator. "Captain Anderson, are you receiving?" "Go ahead, Chief." "Sir, we need every available human ship in this sector. The situation is critical. Their power cores are highly advanced, using quantum entanglement and energy states we barely understand. But that's actually the problem. The more advanced the system, the more vulnerable it is to this field." Anderson's voice was steady. "How many ships can we save?" Mike looked at his readings again. "The good news is our technology might be simpler, but it's stable. If we can adapt our power systems to interface with their life support and critical functions, we could keep them running. The bad news is we need to do this for over 30 large ships, and we're racing against time." "We've already got 6 human vessels en route," Anderson replied. "The nearest will arrive in 10 hours. What do you need?" Mike watched as his team continued scanning the alien engine room. "Every portable generator we can get. Power cells, fusion reactors, anything that runs on our tech. And we'll need every engineer who can hold a wrench." Reed stepped forward. "Our engineers will assist in any way possible. Though I must admit, the idea of using your simpler technology to save our advanced vessels is unexpected." "Sometimes simpler is better," Mike said with a slight smile. "Your ships are amazing, like comparing a quantum computer to a calculator. But right now, we need calculators that work, not advanced systems that don't." A young engineer rushed up to Mike, her face pale. "Chief, you need to see this. The stasis chamber ships, their backup systems are failing faster than the others." Mike's expression hardened. "How many people in stasis?" 20,000, Reed answered quietly. "Our most vulnerable civilians. The elderly, the sick, children." The human engineer immediately activated his communicator again. "Captain, we need to prioritize. The stasis ships have to come first. If those chambers fail, we lose 20,000 lives instantly." "Understood, Chief. I'm redirecting all available resources to those ships. Do what you can." Mike turned to his team. "All right, people, here's the situation. We've got thousands of lives depending on us. We're going to adapt our portable fusion generators to power their life support systems. It won't be pretty, and it won't be elegant, but it will work." He faced the alien commander. "We'll need your engineers to help us understand your power distribution systems. This is going to be like connecting a garden hose to a quantum reactor, but we'll make it work." Reed's large eyes studied the human engineer. "You seem very confident despite the enormous challenge." "Commander," Mike said while checking his tools. Humanity has a long history of fixing things that shouldn't be fixable. It's kind of our specialty. We're stubborn that way. The alien commander nodded slowly. Then we place our lives in your hands. Mike looked around at the combined team of human and alien engineers gathering around him. Let's get to work. We got 50,000 people counting on us, and failure isn't an option. As the teams began to move with purpose, the quiet engine room came alive with activity. The race against time had begun, and the fate of thousands hung in the balance. But on the faces of the human engineers, there was determination rather than doubt. This was humanity at its best, facing impossible odds with ingenuity, courage, and an unwavering will to succeed. The makeshift command center aboard the alien flagship buzzed with activity. Holographic displays flickered with diagrams, while human and alien engineers huddled around workstations, their conversations a mix of technical jargon and translated terms. "It's fascinating," said Linda, one of the human engineers, examining an alien power coupling. "Their technology doesn't just use energy. It manipulates the fundamental forces of spacetime. No wonder the energy field is causing such havoc." Next to her, an alien engineer named Blue, a simplified translation of his actual name, watched as she connected a human diagnostic tool to their systems. "Your technology is interesting. So mechanical, so physical. We haven't used such methods in centuries." Linda laughed. "Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Look at this." She held up a simple mechanical pressure gauge. No quantum circuitry, no AI assistance, just pure physics. The energy field can't affect it because there's nothing to affect. Across the room, Mike was leading a briefing with both human and alien technical teams. Holographic projections showed the planned modifications to the first test ship. "Here's what we know," Mike explained, pointing to the display. "The energy field disrupts any system that relies on quantum-level manipulation. But our fusion reactors, they're just fancy steam engines when you get down to it. Hot plasma, magnetic containment, turbines. Basic physics." An alien engineer raised a hand. "But your power output is far too low for our needs. Our smallest ship requires 10 times what your largest reactor can produce." Mike nodded. "Exactly. That's why we're not trying to power your ships. We're going to help them power themselves. Think of it like a jump start for a car." A ground transport vehicle," he corrected, seeing the confused alien faces. He switched the display to show a new diagram. "We use our systems to stabilize your power cores. Simple mechanical regulators to control the quantum fluctuations, like using training wheels on a bicycle." The aliens murmured among themselves, their expressions showing a mix of surprise and growing respect. One of their senior engineers stepped forward. "You're suggesting we combine our technologies. Use your primitive, excuse me, your basic systems to control our advanced ones. It's so simple it's brilliant." "That's humans for you," Linda called out from her workstation. "We're really good at finding simple solutions to complex problems." The work continued around the clock. Human engineers taught their alien counterparts about mechanical backup systems, while the aliens explained the principles behind their quantum technology. It was a crash course in cross-species engineering, with lives hanging in the balance. "Look at this," Blue said, showing Linda a holographic simulation. "If we modify your fusion containment principles and apply them at the quantum level." Linda's eyes widened. "We could create a buffer zone around the power cores. The mechanical containment would protect the quantum fields from the disruption." The news spread quickly through the command center. Teams began adapting the plans, combining human mechanical engineering with alien quantum science in ways neither species had considered before. Captain Anderson entered the command center, accompanied by Commander Reed. They found Mike examining the latest test results. "How's it looking, Chief?" Anderson asked. Mike looked up, his tired face breaking into a smile. "Captain, I think we got something. It's not pretty, and it probably breaks about a dozen laws of physics, but it should work." He brought up a new display showing the modified power systems. We're using our fusion reactors as stabilizers. The mechanical systems create a protected space where their quantum tech can function normally. It's like, he searched for a simple analogy, like building a shelter from a storm. The storm's still there, but you're protected inside. Commander Reed studied the display intently. This combination of technologies, we would never have considered it. Our engineers always pursue the most advanced solutions. Sometimes the best solution is the simplest one. Anderson replied. Are we ready for a test? Mike nodded. We've modified one of their smaller ships. If it works, we can scale up the solution for the larger vessels. And if it doesn't work? Reed asked quietly. Then we learn from it and try again, Linda said firmly, joining the conversation. That's another thing humans are good at. We don't give up. The command center fell quiet as everyone turned to watch the main display. The test was about to begin. And with it, the first real hope of saving the stranded fleet. All eyes in the command center focused on the main display, showing a small alien vessel designated as the test ship. The hybrid power system had been installed over the last 12 hours, combining human fusion technology with alien quantum cores in a way never attempted before. All monitoring systems active, Linda reported, her fingers dancing across the control panel. Human power systems functioning normally. Quantum buffers in place. Mike stood next to Commander Reed and Captain Anderson, his hands clasped behind his back to hide their slight trembling. Beginning power transfer in 3, 2, 1. The display showed energy flowing from the human fusion generators into the alien systems. At first, everything seemed normal. Then warning lights began flashing. Power spike in the quantum core. Blue called out. Field interference increasing. Hold steady, Mike ordered, his eyes fixed on the readings. The mechanical buffers are holding. Let the system stabilize. 10 seconds passed as engineers from both species watched their respective readings. The warning lights continued to flash, but the power levels began to even out. Quantum field stabilizing. Blue announced, a note of surprise in his voice. Core temperature dropping to normal range. It's working. A cheer went up from the combined engineering teams. Linda hugged Blue, then quickly stepped back, unsure if such contact was appropriate. The alien engineer simply mimicked her smile. Full power restored to test vessel, reported one of the alien technicians. All systems functioning at 92% efficiency. Commander Reed turned to Mike. 92%. Not full capacity. That's actually better than we hoped for, Mike explained. We had to sacrifice some peak performance to achieve stability. But 92% is more than enough to maintain all critical systems and normal operations. Captain Anderson stepped forward. How long to implement this solution across the fleet? Before Mike could answer, multiple emergency signals began blaring. A new hologram appeared, showing one of the largest ships in the alien fleet. Crisis on the Star Wanderer. Blue called out. Their main power core is approaching critical failure. Estimated time to complete shutdown. 3 hours. Reed's silver skin paled. The Star Wanderer carries 5,000 civilians, including 2,000 in stasis chambers. How long to adapt our solution for a ship that size? Anderson asked quickly. Mike ran quick calculations. 6 hours at least. The power requirements are exponentially larger. Those people will die before we can implement the full solution, Linda said, her voice tight with concern. The command center fell silent as the implications sank in. Then Mike straightened up. Maybe we don't need the full solution, he said slowly. Captain, how many portable fusion generators do we have available? 23 from the Star Seeker. Another 35 from the support ships that just arrived. Mike turned to Blue. Could we hook those directly to the stasis chamber systems? Bypass the main power core entirely. The alien engineer's eyes widened. A direct power transfer. That's incredibly dangerous. The slightest miscalculation is better than certain death, Linda interrupted. We can do this. It won't be elegant, but it will keep those people alive until we can implement the full solution. Anderson looked at Reed. Your ship, your people, Commander. Your call. The alien commander looked at the desperate readings from the Star Wanderer, then at the determined faces of the human engineers. Do it. The next 2 hours were a blur of activity. Human engineering teams shuttled to the Star Wanderer, carrying fusion generators and cables. Alien engineers worked frantically to adapt their power reception systems. Like daisy-chaining backup generators to a hospital, Linda explained to Blue as they worked. Not pretty, but effective. With 30 minutes to spare, they powered up the emergency system. The stasis chambers hummed with stable energy, their occupants safely suspended while the main power core was allowed to shut down safely. Emergency power holding steady, Blue reported. All stasis chambers functioning normally. We did it. Mike wiped sweat from his forehead. Now we know it works. Get me a priority list of all ships with stasis chambers or critical power needs. We're going to save every single one of them. As the teams began planning their next rescue, Captain Anderson watched with pride. Humanity's primitive technology, combined with determination and ingenuity, was proving to be exactly what these advanced aliens needed in their darkest hour. The situation aboard the alien vessel Lightbearer was deteriorating faster than anyone had predicted. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow through its massive corridors as human and alien engineers raced against time. Core temperature reaching critical levels, shouted Blue from his monitoring station. The containment field is failing. Mike ran through the engine room, portable scanner in hand. Behind him, Linda carried a fusion regulator nearly half her size. The ship's power core loomed before them, a massive crystalline structure that pulsed with unstable energy. 3,000 people in suspended animation, Mike muttered, checking his readings, and less than 30 minutes before total core failure. Captain Anderson's voice crackled over the communicator. Chief, status report. It's bad, Captain, Mike replied, connecting diagnostic equipment. This ship's different from the others. The power core is directly linked to the stasis chambers. We can't bypass it like we did before. Linda set down her equipment. The quantum fluctuations are too severe. Our standard solution won't work fast enough. Through the viewing window, they could see rows upon rows of stasis pods, each containing a sleeping alien. The soft blue glow of their life support systems was starting to flicker. There might be a way, Blue said suddenly, his silver fingers flying over a control panel, but it's extremely dangerous. We'd need to manually stabilize the core while the new systems are installed. Mike's face paled. You mean someone would have to stay in there? With an unstable quantum core? Yes, the core needs constant adjustment to prevent collapse. Our mechanical systems aren't fast enough. It requires human intuition. Linda stepped forward. I'll do it. No, Mike said immediately. I'm the chief engineer. It's my responsibility. You're needed to coordinate the overall installation, Linda argued. I've got the best marks in quantum field dynamics. It has to be me. A deep boom echoed through the ship, and more warning lights flashed. They were out of time for debate. Do it, Mike ordered. But you get out of there the moment things go wrong. That's an order. Linda nodded, grabbing a protective suit. As she prepared to enter the core chamber, Blue touched her arm. The radiation levels, even with protection. She managed a smile. Just work fast. The next 20 minutes were the most intense of their lives. Linda stood within arm's reach of the failing core, making constant adjustments to keep it stable. Even through the suit, she could feel the heat and energy radiating from the crystal structure. Outside, Mike and Blue led their teams in a frantic installation of the hybrid power system. Human fusion generators were connected in record time, while alien engineers reconfigured their quantum matrices. Core temperature rising. Blue called out, Linda, status. Inside the chamber, Linda's voice came through strained. I can hold it. Just hurry. The protective suit was beginning to show signs of deterioration. Warning indicators flashed on her heads-up display, showing dangerous radiation levels. 15% of installation complete. 30%. 50%. Linda's hands were shaking now, but she kept them steady on the control rods. Each adjustment meant the difference between stability and catastrophic failure. 70%. 85%. A crack appeared in her suit's faceplate. The radiation warning reached critical levels. Almost there. Mike's voice seemed distant now. 95%. Linda's vision began to blur, but she maintained her focus on the readings. Just a little longer. Installation complete. Linda, get out of there now. She stumbled away from the core as the new systems took over. The chamber door opened, and strong hands pulled her to safety. Through fading consciousness, she saw the core's crystal structure stabilize, its angry red glow settling into a calm blue. When she awoke in the medical bay hours later, Mike and Blue were waiting. "Did it work?" she asked weakly. Mike smiled. "Perfect stability. All 3,000 still sleeping safely. You did it." "We did it," she corrected, trying to sit up. "The doctors say you'll make a full recovery," Blue added. "Though I must admit, we're having trouble understanding why you would risk your life for people you've never met." Linda closed her eyes, remembering those rows of sleeping faces. "Because that's what humans do. We help where we can, however we can. It's who we are." As she rested, the Lightbearer's power core hummed with stable energy, its precious cargo safe thanks to one human's courage and an entire team's determination to save lives, regardless of species. The bridge of the Starseeker had transformed into an impromptu fleet command center. Holographic displays showed the status of dozens of alien vessels, their power cores in various states of failure. Captain Anderson stood at the center, coordinating the massive rescue operation. Support vessel Thunder reporting successful power transfer to Alien Ship 7, reported Bill from Communications, moving to assist Ship 12. Anderson nodded, watching as another indicator changed from red to green on the main display. They'd saved 23 ships so far, but 15 remained in critical condition. "How's our equipment holding up?" he asked Mike, who looked exhausted after 3 days of non-stop work. "We're stretching everything to the limit, Captain," the chief engineer replied. "Every fusion generator we have is running at maximum capacity. We've even dismantled non-essential systems from our own ships to build more power regulators." Commander Reed entered the bridge, his usually perfect posture showing signs of fatigue. "Captain Anderson, your people have performed miracles. But I fear we may not be able to save all the ships in time." Before Anderson could respond, multiple alarms blared. The large section of the holographic display turned bright red. "Power failure spreading through the outer fleet," Bill called out. 5 ships losing core containment simultaneously. Mike rushed to a console. "The energy field is intensifying. It's affecting a larger area now." Anderson's mind raced through options. They couldn't split their resources to save 5 ships at once, but choosing which ships to save meant condemning the others. Then Linda's voice came over the comm system from engineering. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work." "At this point, I'll take crazy," Anderson replied. "We can't save all 5 ships individually, but what if we link them together? Create a power-sharing network. The stable ships could help support the failing ones until we can implement permanent solutions." Mike's eyes widened. Like a floating power grid in space. It's never been done before. "Can it work?" Anderson asked sharply. "Maybe," Mike said, running calculations, "but we'd need to physically connect the ships. The power transfer requires direct contact." Commander Reed stepped forward. "Our ships have emergency docking capabilities. We could create a circle formation. The strain on the working power cores would be enormous." Blue added from his station. "We'd be risking all 5 ships instead of just losing some." Anderson looked at the display, at the thousands of life signs aboard each vessel. Better to risk everything trying to save them all than to choose who lives and who dies. Make it happen. The next hours were intense. The 5 failing ships slowly maneuvered into a circular formation, their massive hulls carefully connecting through emergency docking ports. Human engineers worked frantically to set up power transfer conduits, while alien technicians modified their systems for the unprecedented attempt. All ships connected. Mary reported from operations. Power transfer ready on your mark. Anderson looked at Mike. Your call, Chief. Mike took a deep breath. Beginning power transfer in 3, 2, 1. Energy flowed between the ships. Warning lights flashed across every console as the stable cores struggled to support their failing neighbors. Power distribution at critical levels. Blue called out. The strain is too much. Reroute emergency power. Linda's voice came through. Everything we've got. The Star Seeker and other human vessels moved closer, extending power cables to the linked alien ships. Every available generator, every spare battery, every bit of power they could muster was channeled into the network. Core temperatures stabilizing. Blue reported, surprise evident in his voice. Network is holding. A cheer went up across the bridge. The indicators slowly changed from red to yellow, then to green as the ship's systems stabilized. It worked, Mike said quietly, almost in disbelief. The power-sharing network actually worked. Anderson allowed himself a small smile. How long until we can implement permanent solutions for these ships? With the network holding them stable? 6 hours, maybe 7. Then let's finish this, Anderson said. We've come too far to fail now. As human and alien crews continued their work, the linked ships hung in space, a physical representation of cooperation and determination. What started as a desperate gamble had turned into another example of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to find solutions where none seemed possible. The final push to save the fleet was underway, and failure was not an option. 1 month after the rescue operation, the Star Seeker and the alien fleet floated in orbit around Earth. The massive alien vessels dwarfed the orbital stations, their newly modified power cores humming with stable energy. A perfect blend of human and alien technology. In the Star Seeker's main conference room, Captain Anderson sat with Commander Reed and representatives from both species. The mood was solemn yet hopeful. The last ship's modifications were completed yesterday, Mike reported, standing before the assembled officials. All vessels are operating at 95% efficiency, better than our initial projections. Linda, still showing slight signs of her radiation exposure but fully recovered, added, the hybrid technology has proven more effective than either of our original systems. The mechanical buffers actually enhance quantum stability. Commander Reed rose from his seat. What began as a disaster has become something remarkable. Our Council of Elders has reviewed the events of the past month, and we have reached a unanimous decision. He activated a holographic display, showing a new star chart. We originally saw humanity as a young, primitive species. We were wrong. Your people have demonstrated innovation, courage, and wisdom that rivals or exceeds our own. We would like to establish a permanent alliance between our civilizations. Anderson looked surprised. Even though our technology is less advanced. Advanced is a relative term, Reed replied. Your simple solutions saved 50,000 lives. You've shown us that progress isn't always about complexity. Sometimes it's about finding the right answer, no matter how basic it might seem. Blue stepped forward, holding a data crystal. We're offering a complete exchange of technological knowledge, not just the hybrid systems we created together, but everything. Our quantum sciences, your mechanical engineering. Imagine what we could achieve by combining both. The human officials murmured excitedly. Years of technological advancement could be gained through this exchange. There's more, Reed continued. We're also recommending Earth as a primary center for cross-species engineering studies. Your people's unique approach to problem-solving should be shared with other spacefaring races. Linda smiled. from rescuing the stranded fleet to becoming teachers for advanced aliens. Not bad for a primitive species. The meeting continued with discussions of future collaborations, but Anderson found his thoughts drifting to the events that had brought them here. He remembered the courage of his crew, especially Linda's sacrifice in the core chamber. The determination of engineers like Mike and Blue, working together despite their differences. After the meeting, Anderson stood at his familiar spot by the bridge viewport. Earth spun below, while the alien fleet stretched out above. Commander Reed joined him. "Your world is beautiful," the alien said quietly. "We see now why your people developed such resilience, such determination to overcome challenges." Anderson nodded. "Earth taught us that survival often depends on finding unexpected solutions, on never giving up, no matter the odds. A lesson we won't forget," Reed replied. "The story of how humanity rescued our fleet will be taught to our children for generations to come. And our children will learn that appearances can be deceiving," Anderson said. "That being more technologically advanced doesn't always mean being better." The two commanders watched as shuttles moved between the ships, carrying teams of human and alien engineers. Already, they were working on improving the hybrid technology, combining the best of both civilizations. "The energy field that disabled our fleet," Reed mused. "We now believe it was a natural phenomenon. A test, perhaps, of our ability to adapt and cooperate. A test we passed together," Anderson added. In the days that followed, the alien fleet would depart, but not as originally planned. Many ships would remain near Earth, establishing the first joint human-alien engineering academy. Others would carry human engineers to help upgrade other alien vessels with the new hybrid technology. What began as a desperate rescue had evolved into something far more significant, a moment when humanity proved that advancement wasn't just about technology. It was about creativity, courage, and the willingness to help others in need. As the sun set over Earth that evening, human and alien crews raised their glasses together, celebrating not just a successful rescue, but the beginning of a new era of cooperation among the stars. The legacy of those few critical days would echo through the cosmos, a testament to what different species could achieve when they worked together. And at the heart of it all was a simple truth. Sometimes the most primitive solution could solve the most advanced problem, if you just had the courage to try.